Welcome back to the deep dive. We're here to give you the essential knowledge, the surprising facts and the insights that really cut through all the noise online.
And today, we are taking a really deep plunge into a fascinating intersection.
We really are. It's celebrity wellness, it's high-stakes business, and it's this incredibly intimate, personal revelation that basically stopped the internet.
And it all stems from just one panel appearance.
Just one. We're talking about Kourtney Kardashian at the Women's Wear Daily, the WWD Beauty Inc. Awards in New York City.
That's right. So the stage was set for a pretty standard industry discussion. She was there to promote her wellness brand, Lemme, which has been really successful.
She was part of a panel, and the title was Lemme Lead, Redefining Wellness and Access. She was up there with her co-founder, Simon Huck.
And this event, WWD's The Catalysts, it's a big deal. It's meant to celebrate the biggest figures driving change in beauty and wellness.
So you'd expect a certain kind of conversation. When someone like Kourtney Kardashian, who is so meticulous about her image, so careful with her family life, sits down to talk business, you're thinking product strategy, right? Marketing wins.
Exactly. You're thinking quarterly earnings, ingredient sourcing, that kind of thing. But what actually happened went way beyond that. It became this huge moment of personal disclosure.
So our mission today is a bit complex. First, we need to unpack the very specific, and I think for many, pretty counterintuitive sources of energy she talked about.
Then we've got to analyze the business philosophy behind Lemme. I mean, what's the actual mechanics of the supplement schedule that got the brand an industry award?
And finally, and this is the big one, we have to spend some real time contextualizing the headline-making lifestyle choice she revealed. It involves her youngest child, and we need to look at how that fits with, broader health recommendations and even public perception.
It's fascinating because the whole thing was kicked off by a single, very simple question. The moderator, Jenny B. Fine, just asked the 46-year-old star, where do you get the energy?
Yeah, how do you juggle being a mom of four, managing this huge blended family, and running a business that's growing like crazy?
And the answer she gave? It was immediate. It was candid.
And for a lot of people, I think completely unexpected. It really opened a window into the level of commitment she has to maintaining this totally natural, high-energy state.
It really does. It connects her most private, personal choices directly to her public professional success.
Okay, let's unpack this.
Yeah.
So when we talk about celebrity energy, especially at this level of business, our minds immediately go to a certain thing.
Oh, totally. You're expecting the super scientific, probably super expensive answers.
Exactly, like specific biohacks, cold plunges at 5 a.m., custom IV drips, maybe some kind of hyper-regimented macro diet plan.
Right. But what Kourtney offered was, well, it was remarkably different.
It was. Her answer was really rooted in simplicity, and I'd say in nurturing.
She said her sustained energy, which the moderator was obviously impressed by, came down to two core pillars.
The first one, complete abstinence from alcohol. The second, and this is the one that made all the headlines, was that she's still breastfeeding her 2-year-old son, Rocky 13.
And that second point is just, it's huge. It's a fascinating answer because it means her entire daily routine, every single choice she makes about what she consumes is dictated by this maternal commitment that's now been going on for 2 full years.
It creates a framework, doesn't it? A framework of limitation.
It does. And often those limitations are what breed a better sense of focus. Let's dig into the caffeine thing specifically because that's a big part of it.
Okay, yeah.
She said she avoids coffee and caffeine completely. And this isn't just, I'm cutting back. It's a necessary choice that's directly linked to her breastfeeding.
And we know it's a genuine sacrifice for her.
We do. Because her co-founder, Simon Huck, actually jumped in during the panel and said, you were a matcha girl before.
Right. And she immediately acknowledged it. She said she genuinely misses matcha and can't wait to have it again someday.
That little detail tells you so much about her discipline. I mean, she even clarified that she could technically have some matcha or a bit of caffeine while breastfeeding, if it was moderate.
But she doesn't.
For her, not having it at all has become a very deliberate choice.
And that choice, it suggests she's really prioritizing a consistent energy level. She's avoiding the peaks and crashes that even a little bit of caffeine can give you.
Which, if you think about her life, makes perfect sense.
Totally. I mean, you're juggling the demands of motherhood to Mason, who's 15.
The teenager.
Penelope, who's 13. Rain, who's 10. And then Rocky, who's a 2-year-old.
That's the entire spectrum. From teenage drama to toddler needs.
So for her, that consistent, steady energy is probably way more valuable than a quick caffeine jolt in the morning?
Absolutely. The demands of being a mom of four, especially in the public eye, are just relentless. And she acknowledged that. She talked about that very common feeling among mothers that sometimes your things come last.
Yeah, that's so relatable. She admitted she can't always be this full-force wellness girl who has hours and hours for bespoke routines.
And that's what leads her directly to her solution, the concept she calls her non-negotiables.
These are the things she guarantees she will do every single day, no matter how chaotic life gets, even if she feels like she's at the bottom of her own priority list.
These non-negotiables are the anchor. They're what makes her whole philosophy sustainable, and they are deceptively simple.
So what are they?
Okay, number one, walking daily. Number two, taking her supplements. And number three, getting at least 8 hours of sleep.
Let's just break those down for a second. Walking is the most accessible form of movement there is. Clears your head, gets circulation going. You don't need any special equipment.
Right, supplements cover that nutritional base, which, she's built her whole business on.
And then 8 hours of sleep. That's the absolute foundation of recovery for anyone managing extreme stress or physical demand, like, for example, extended breastfeeding.
The brilliance is that the barrier to entry seems so low. But, and we have to apply a critical lens here.
Of course.
While the tasks themselves are simple, her ability to achieve them consistently was definitely helped by having significant resources.
That's a really crucial point. We're talking nannies, executive support for her business, all of that. For the average working mom, getting 8 uninterrupted hours of sleep.
Or even just a guaranteed daily walk.
That often requires a huge level of coordinated support that most people just don't have.
So while the philosophy is simple and accessible, we have to acknowledge that the execution of it benefits from her level of access and privilege.
Right. But regardless of the resources, her stated philosophy is all about moderation. It's not about this obsessive, expensive perfectionism.
No, she openly talked about that duality. Having times where she's that full-force wellness girl, and other times where she knows that time scarcity is real and she's last on the list.
And that's a strategic position to take, isn't it?
Very. By positioning yourself as someone who's just striving for consistency, not flawless performance, she makes her brand and her personal routine feel much more relatable and achievable than the typical unattainable celebrity standard.
She advocates for finding a routine that's practical, something you can actually maintain long term.
And that approach connects directly to her views on appearance. She kept saying that real beauty is driven from within.
Which is the perfect segue to talk about the actual products she uses to try and achieve that inner glow.
Okay, so let's shift focus to the Lemme brand itself. Its growth has been pretty impressive since it launched back in September 2022.
Absolutely. Winning brand of the year. Wellness at the WWD Beauty Inc. Awards is a huge deal. It's serious industry recognition, especially in what is an incredibly saturated market.
It really is.
Yeah.
And Kourtney, very smartly, grounded this business win in a very personal story.
She did. She made it clear this isn't just some recent commercial project for her.
No, she shared that her whole wellness journey started almost 16 years ago, right when she had her first baby, Mason.
And she said that everything she does in the wellness space is fundamentally for her kids.
That statement is so important. It provides that authentic why that, consumers and listeners are always looking for. It positions Lemme not as just another fleeting celebrity endorsement,
but as the result of almost 2 decades of maternal research and prioritizing her family's health.
Right. So this raises a big question that you really need an answer to. If she's so committed to taking her supplements every day, it's her second non-negotiable, what specific items is she actually taking?
From her brand and, maybe beyond.
Well, she gave some really detailed insight. She said her routine is simple and dialed in to specific times of the day. And she uses different formats, gummies, liquids, capsules, to keep it interesting.
So let's break down the core daily non-negotiable she talked about on that panel.
Okay, the first one is magnesium. She takes that every single night before she goes to sleep.
Which we already know is a huge priority for her. Getting that 8 hours of sleep is one of her big 3 goals.
Exactly. And magnesium is a classic choice to support that. If we just look at the basic science, magnesium plays a huge role in regulating neurotransmitters, especially GABA, which has a calming effect. It helps relax your muscles, creating the perfect conditions to fall asleep and stay asleep.
So she's actively using a well-known, effective supplement to reinforce one of her most critical recovery tasks. Smart. What else is on the daily list?
She mentioned an oral probiotic, which is pretty standard for promoting a healthy gut microbiome, the body's second brain.
Right.
But the third item is more specialized. It's Lemme Pur.
And that's the one designed for vaginal health.
Yes, and she explicitly called this one a non-negotiable.
That's a really intriguing choice. It shows her health focus isn't just about general energy. It's a conscious effort towards specialized feminine health maintenance. She's linking the core functions of her body to her overall feeling of well-being.
He also talked about how she immediately integrates new products into her routine, like the liquid lemmi-colostrum. And this is where we get another one of those fun little details about her avoiding caffeine.
Yes, the coffee detail.
She said she just puts the liquid colostrum straight into her mouth.
And she even admitted she thinks that's probably not how you're supposed to use it.
Right, she said, I think it's supposed to go in coffee.
It's a small thing, but it perfectly shows how she adapts. She doesn't drink coffee, so she just found a way to make the product fit into her established caffeine-free routine.
And just for context, colostrum is that first form of milk that mammals produce right after birth. It's super rich in antibodies, immunoglobulins, growth factors,
Yeah.
all the things that are essential for a newborn's immune system.
So as a supplement for adults, the idea is that it can help boost your overall immunity and gut health.
It's just fascinating, isn't it? Her whole wellness journey starts with this maternal purpose, and now she's using supplements derived from, essential early maternal nourishment. The very full circle approach.
So what about when she's sick? Does her routine change?
It does. We got to look into her tactical approach. She said when she's fighting even a little cold, she immediately doubles down on Lemmy immunity and adds oil of oregano.
Okay, so that's a very specific, actionable strategy. She's combining her own commercial products with a traditional herbal remedy that's known for its powerful antibacterial properties.
And to make sure this whole routine actually sticks, she focuses on keeping it slightly fun and unserious.
Which is a crucial marketing element for any brand like this. How do you stop it from feeling like a chore?
The anecdote she told about the gummies is the perfect answer to that.
The dessert story.
Exactly.
Yeah.
She treats her Lemmy D Bloat gummies as a sweet treat. She talked about being in a hotel with her daughter Penelope, they'd ordered room service, and they completely forgot to order dessert.
So instead of calling back down,
She just said, okay, I'm having 2 Lemmy D Bloat.
that is a masterclass in behavioral conditioning. You're swapping a high-sugar, low-nutrient dessert craving with a functional supplement. You're framing the wellness choice as a reward.
It's the core psychological hack behind the appeal of gummy supplements. Despite what critics might say about the sugar content, it reframes the whole thing.
It's less about a restrictive diet and more about finding a better substitute.
It shifts the entire context. And what's really fascinating here is just the sheer speed of the business momentum that her co-founder, Simon Huck, confirmed.
8 new products launching in the next 9 months. That's not just growth, that's rapid expansion. It's a huge testament to their success.
And Kourtney teased 2 really exciting collabs, saying they're with brands she loves.
And Huck gave a big hint about one of them.
He did. He said it's a big beauty brand that she and Travis are obsessed with. And, he added pointedly, one that can help Penelope.
And there it is again. We circle right back to that maternal purpose. Even the strategic roadmap for the brand's future is being framed in terms of a family benefit.
It just solidifies that why behind Lemmy. It's deeply personal, and it's this unifying thread that runs through her business and her personal life.
So now we have to return to the centerpiece of this whole deep dive, the really unexpected part.
We do. Kourtney Kardashian's revelation that she's still breastfeeding her son, Rocky 13, who just recently turned 2.
This is a massive revelation, not just because it's been 2 years, but because it is the concrete explanation for her energy levels, for her lifestyle choices we just talked about.
Right, the zero alcohol, the minimal caffeine. It all clicks into place.
And given the cultural differences and, frankly, the misinformation that's often out there on this topic, it's essential that we provide the proper medical context from the sources.
Yes. When we're talking about a commitment that goes this far past infancy, we really need to understand what the professional recommendations are.
So if we connect this to the established healthcare guidelines, what do institutions like the Cleveland Clinic or the World Health Organization generally recommend?
Well, the standard medical guideline, universally, is for exclusive breastfeeding for a child's first 6 months.
Okay, the first 6 months.
After that 6-month mark, the recommendation shifts. The guidance is to continue breastfeeding until the child is 12 months old or older, while you're also introducing other complementary age-appropriate foods.
That phrase, 12 months or older, that feels really key here.
It's everything. Because once a mother continues breastfeeding beyond that first year, she enters what's called extended breastfeeding. So Kourtney's choice to be nursing a child at the 2-year mark falls squarely within that extended category.
And we should probably dig a little deeper for you here. I mean, why would someone choose this path, especially with her kind of demanding schedule?
Well, the sources mostly highlight the maternal comfort and the immune benefits for the child, which are significant. But there are also continued nutritional benefits.
So even after a year, breast milk is still providing important stuff.
Absolutely. It continues to provide essential antibodies, which protect the child against common illnesses. And studies show it still delivers fat, protein, and vital vitamins. It just shifts from being the primary source of nutrition to being a highly valuable nutritional supplement alongside solid foods.
And you can't discount the emotional and attachment side of it.
Not at all. For the mother, breastfeeding releases oxytocin. That promotes relaxation and bonding. For someone in her position, that could be a really crucial stress management tool.
And for the child, it's a source of comfort, right? Especially when they're sick or upset.
Exactly. Now, the 2-year mark is often where public perception can get a little polarized. In many Western cultures, it's highly encouraged in the first year. But extended breastfeeding often faces more scrutiny or just a lack of visibility. So for her to acknowledge it so publicly is pretty significant.
It really speaks to her level of dedication. I mean, to sustain this, it requires an immense commitment. You're avoiding certain foods, maintaining a specific lifestyle for 2 full years.
All while traveling constantly and going to major social events where alcohol is, almost always present.
This sustained personal choice is also the clearest way she's refuted those persistent rumors that have been following her for the last year.
The ones about her expecting a 5th child.
Exactly.
The rumor mill went into total overdrive last fall, and it was all sparked by a photo that seemed pretty innocent.
The birthday tribute to Travis Barker.
Right. And eagle-eyed fans spotted a pair of black and white Vans baby sneakers in the background, and they had an R on the back.
So in the world of social media crews, fans took the R and the baby shoes to mean a pregnancy announcement was coming. It turned into this huge speculative narrative online.
And yet, as the sources suggest, those shoes were almost certainly just for her son, Rocky. And Kourtney has been so consistent in shutting these rumors down on social media.
But she doesn't do it with a formal press release. She uses her signature mix of humor and, just reality. She's attributed any perceived changes in her body to positive things.
Like her famous line about eating pancakes and jumping off cliffs.
Right. Just enjoying life and food. And, of course, the factor of breastfeeding.
So this revelation at the WWD panel, where she cites her ongoing 2-year commitment to nursing, it serves as her most tangible, detailed public explanation. It replaces all the speculation about her future maternal plans with the clear reality of her current maternal commitment.
It also just highlights the intense pressure on women in the public eye. Any natural fluctuation in appearance immediately gets packaged into a specific story by the public, in this case, pregnancy.
Whereas Kourtney's just saying the story is actually much simpler. I'm a mother, I'm nurturing my child, and I'm enjoying my food.
That narrative provides some much-needed clarity. But it is important to note, the sources do say that while she's shutting down recent pregnancy rumors, the couple is known to really want more kids with Travis, and he's fully supportive of that idea for the future.
Well, they certainly have the infrastructure for a big family.
They really do. You've got Kourtney's 4 kids, Mason, Penelope, Rain, and Rocky. And then Travis has Landon, who's 22, and Alabama, who's 19, plus his stepdaughter, Atiana de la Hoya, who's 26.
It's already a very vibrant, very large, and very complex blended family structure.
And her ability to maintain this demanding wellness routine in the middle of all that just reinforces how important her 3 non-negotiables are.
It's a survival mechanism, really, for a high-demand environment.
Okay, let's move to the final and maybe the most strategically surprising part of this deep dive.
And that's the way Kourtney manages the business of Lemme in relation to the, the incredibly effective and notoriously intertwined Kardashian-Jenner empire.
You would just naturally assume that when she launched Lemme, she would immediately tap into decades of experience and the negotiating power of her manager mom, Kris Jenner.
Or her wildly successful sisters, Kim and Kylie. But she revealed that she actually does not seek much day-to-day business advice from them.
That is so unusual. It really runs counter to the public narrative that defines that family.
It does. The Kardashian-Jenners are famous for their constant synergy, their cross-promotion, their collaborative business strategies. So why is Kourtney choosing this path of autonomy?
What was her reasoning?
She gave a very straightforward rationale that's really all about setting necessary boundaries. She explained that when they're all together, they intentionally don't really talk business that much.
So they're prioritizing family time over constant strategy meetings.
Exactly. They're trying to create a divide between their professional and personal lives.
That says so much about her desire for authenticity and control over her own brand story. In a system that's famous for leveraging every single family connection, she's basically building a firewall around Lemmy's core strategy.
And that move has both pros and cons, strategically speaking.
Okay, what are the pros?
On the pro side, it lets the Lemmy brand stand on its own. It can cultivate a unique image that's separate from any of the drama or controversies that might pop up around other family businesses. It really enhances that perception of authenticity, which is gold in the wellness space.
But the cons have to be pretty significant.
They are. She is consciously limiting her access to the momager machine, Kris Jenner's unmatched deal-making skills, and the massive built-in marketing machine that Kim or Kylie could provide in an instant.
So it's a much riskier, more independent path. She's having to rely heavily on her own instincts and her co-founder, Simon Huck.
She did confirm, though, that Kris Jenner at 70 is still fully aware of what's going on with all of their businesses.
So the ultimate resource is still there if she needs it.
Right. If Kourtney has a really serious high-stakes question, she can still go to her, but that day-to-day managerial advice, she is actively getting that elsewhere.
And that self-imposed boundary provides a really critical insight for you as a listener. Sometimes, stepping away from the most obvious, overwhelming resource is actually necessary to forge your own unique identity and maintain some mental separation.
But despite that general autonomy, she did confirm that family collaboration is still highly valued when it's targeted and when it works.
She gave the example of working with Kim on the colostrum campaign.
Right, which she described as really fun.
Yeah.
And that distinction is so important. It wasn't about her asking Kim for advice on Lemmy's supply chain strategy.
No, it was a targeted promotional collaboration that fit both of their brand narratives at that moment.
It just confirms that collaboration is a welcome supplement to her strategy, not the dependency that defines the business.
So the big picture takeaway from her entire WWD appearance, from her energy sources to her business strategy, is this consistent focus on simplicity, consistency, and moderation.
Whether she's managing her time or her business relationships, her method is to identify those core non-negotiables.
The walking, the sleep, the core supplements.
And then she ruthlessly prioritizes those while letting that need for obsessive perfectionism just fall away.
And that approach is so applicable to anyone who feels overwhelmed by information or a lack of time. Don't try to adopt some 15-step wellness ritual or constantly seek outside advice on every little project.
Right. Instead, just secure the minimum requirements for your own recovery and consistency. In her case, that's physical recovery and business autonomy.
This has been such a deeply revealing look into how personal choices can really anchor professional success.
It really has.
So if we're recapping the most surprising nuggets for you, we have to start with that highly disciplined, long-term, 2-year breastfeeding choice. That's the engine driving her energy, her diet, and her public narrative.
We also distilled that specific, focused supplement routine. It's built on foundational science, magnesium for targeted sleep support, the oral probiotic, and Lemmy Purr as a non-negotiable for feminine health. All of it adapted to her specific needs.
Like taking the liquid colostrum straight to the mouth because she doesn't drink coffee.
Exactly. And finally, that unexpected business boundary. The strategic decision to keep Lemmy autonomous, not leaning heavily on the momager machine or her sisters for routine advice, and maintaining that crucial divide between professional and family life.
So what does this all mean?
I think Kourtney Kardashian's deep dive really signals that true stability in a chaotic, high-demand life comes from conscious, intentional limitation. Her ability to thrive isn't just about what she adds to her routine, it's about what she consciously chooses not to include.
Whether that's caffeine, alcohol, or unsolicited business advice.
Right. Structure and setting clear boundaries are the ultimate tools for navigating information overload and time scarcity.
It also invites us to think about the powerful motivation behind all of her choices. The source material positioned her whole wellness journey as starting 16 years ago when she had her first baby, and that everything she does in this space is ultimately for her kids. So you have to consider that profound connection between nurturing others, in her case through extended breastfeeding and creating these wellness products, and defining your own personal boundaries and physical routine. Is true. Sustainable wellness, always rooted in a powerful, external purpose, like parental dedication?
I think that underlying motivation often dictates the longevity and the success of any routine, whether it's personal or professional. It's the difference between a temporary phase and a sustainable lifestyle.
That is a compelling idea to mull over as you build your own set of essential non-negotiables. Thanks for diving in with us today.
We'll catch you next time for the next deep dive.